Hey, welcome back to the Ping Pong Flick Show. My name is Chris Wong. Not very much DC Extended Universe news, but I really want to get this time to talk about Hamada. But first, foremost, there is a tweet from Humberto Gonzalez. No, it's not the all of a sudden Batman v Superman hate or the Snyder Cut does not exist one. But he talked about that there is a DC movie test screening this Wednesday. Now, he says DC movie, not necessarily DCEU movie. I don't know what it is. My buck is on Aquaman because they're going to do another test screening possibly. They do a lot more effects on it. Somebody even said Teen Titans Go, but doesn't Teen Titans Go release real soon? I don't think a test screening would be favorable for that at this point. I don't think. So I think that's not the test screening he was talking about. And, Teen Titans Go is not really newsworthy unless he's trolling us all, and it really is Teen Titans Go. But my buck is on Aquaman because that is the next movie that's coming out. I think it may be too soon for Shazam. I could be wrong. It could be Shazam. They did finish filming, so how fast were they able to put everything together? This is just a test screening, maybe the very, pre-viz, things like that. So who knows? It could either, I say Aquaman, it could be Shazam, and I don't, it's not really newsworthy if it's Teen Titans Go, unless you're a huge Teen Titans Go fan. But I really want to talk about Walter Hamada, and there was from that official description of his job that came up on Warner Brothers Pictures. A lot of news sites were coming up to it. Some people are like, "See, this is the new Lord and Savior. This is the one who's going to right the ship," and all this kind of stuff. And it is interesting to see when you look back at his bio. And I read it yesterday. But I came to think about it, and yeah, he did a lot of horror movies, right? And the sites are noticing that he's saying they're going to do superheroes and supervillain stories, not just superhero stories. That's something that Marvel hasn't done. Like they're saying, we're not going to copy Marvel no more. We're going to do our own thing. That's one big thing they're going to do now, with the exception of Infinity War, which was more Thanos-centric, which is a fantastic movie. I think what Walter Hamada is going to do is really make villain type stories. Suicide Squad was sort of a villain story, although you really felt for the villain. But then again, that's what makes a good villain, because they really believe what they're doing is right, like how Thanos is. So I think that is interesting. I mean, we have Margot Robbie heading up her own production company, making several different films, and she's able to get Birds of Prey off the ground, her girl gangster film, and she's going to be in it. There's also talks of her being involved in other projects as well. Suicide Squad, I said that already. Black Adam is another villain type story. What else are we going to see? What else is going to be down the pipeline? New Gods could potentially be a villain type story too, although it's probably more, Big Barda and everybody else. But it's cool and interesting to see a diverse plots instead of just being a hero-centric film, and it's like a serial. It's like it's more like or episodic in nature, like the Marvel Universe. So they are doing something different here, and I think I like where they're going at to diversify the genre a little bit from being so cliched as so similar to one brand. Marvel's doing it. Let them do whatever they want to do. This is what DCEU wants to do, and instrumental in that is they're saying is Walter Hamada. Now I already talked about the budgets, right? I already talked about how he's probably because of all these low budget horror films, they're able to gain a lot of profit because they're low budget, works on low margins, and then with a higher revenue. So only that is that when you look at the type of movies he's been doing, right? You've got all these horror movies. Maybe that's why he likes the darker type of films. Now, when I use the word darker, I don't mean that in a negative way. A lot of people are using that now, sadly, in a negative way. It's like, what do you mean by darker? What what I like to mean by darker is more grounded, with little moments of levity. And when those moments show up, it's more. It has more of an effect than having the whole film be a lighter film, right? If the whole film's light, you don't feel that need for the light. I've talked about this. Like, you're in a dark room, there's a tunnel there's a door opens, and you have the urge to really go to that light. You have the sensation of wanting to go to that light, and of happiness and joy when you see that light. Kind of like in the Conjuring film. If you ever watched the Conjuring film, the first one, where the main characters, this might be spoilers if you don't already know, but in order to defeat the demon, Vera Farmiga's character, she told the lady who was possessed to think about that happy moment. Everything was dark, it's dark room, it's insane, it's evil. Then she remembers that moment where their family's on the beach, it's sunshine, there's bright lights, it's bright sun, they're on the beach, they're all happy and smiles. That was a breakaway from all that darkness in order to save the day, in a way. So that's what I mean about that you have those moments of levity in a darker film, in a darker tone film, and they'll be a lot more effective than having the whole film be a lighter film. And so I think Walter Hamada likes that. I think he likes that type of movie, and I think that would be really great for the Dceu universe to want to diversify us from other superhero movies that are out there, and something to look forward to. And I think that's the magic that he was able to do with those horror films, and maybe those are the more to his liking. And with that being said, that means that there is more, not evidence per se, but there is more, it gives us a better idea of why and if and why he actually wants Zack Snyder, to stay on board, because Zack Snyder does make those types of darker films, realistic films, grounded films with moments of levity, and asking those questions that people don't want to ask. So I'm glad that Walter Hamada is from that background through New Line Cinema, and I think that is a really good thing. One thing that came up today was Daniel R., who also had a lot of interesting DCEU bombs that I reported on yesterday, and he mentioned today about Walter Hamada and a little bit, and about Ben Affleck. Someone asked him if Ben Affleck is still on Batman. He says he's still hearing that he is going to be the Batman, and someone asked him, is that Walter Hamada or Matt Reeves? And what he said was interesting. He said that Hamada wants Ben Affleck to be Batman. Matt Reeves, he's not sure. He's not sure about Matt Reeves. Now, that could be either he doesn't know what Matt Reeves is thinking in terms of his storyline, if he wants Ben Affleck to be his Batman, or, he wanted someone else to be to be Batman, So, because this is his story, this is that when Matt Reeves came on, remember when he came on and he had a fight with the producers, and he walked away, and he didn't want to do what they were intending. Now, the producers at that time was John Berg, was Jeff Johns, and something happened to that point where they had said something, and then Matt Reeves came back on board. And then he says, all right, we'll do this and that. But somewhere along, that's the one that's interesting, because Matt Reeves during the time came on board because of John Berg and Jeff Johns. He's not a Walter Hamada project, if you will. He's not from the Walter Hamada era. He was grandfathered in to that era. So I am very interested to see what comes up from there. Does that mean bad news for Matt Reeves? Maybe not. I'm not sure. Not really sure right now. And I think that's what is being mentioned here, that is a interesting thing that may happen. It's curious to know what Matt Reeves is doing, what type of stories he's doing. He's pretty much in the dark. He's not talking about what kind of story he's doing. We hear here and there about a gangster film, maybe Penguin, things like that. But he's pretty tight-lipped too. So And hearing Hamada wanting Ben Affleck to be Batman again also brings more to the Walter Hamada really liking how the portrayal of Batman was in the previous films before Justice League, or how what Zack Snyder has done. So that gives us a little bit more ammo into the pocket that he is a little bit more for the Snyderverse, and which is good. That's a good thing, and we want him to think that way for people who love the Snyder movies and hoping for the Snyder cut. That's good. We want the head to be on our side. Okay, we want the head to be on these. Without Hamada, nothing Snyder cut, whatever, will never happen. That's what I'm saying. So, but some people like Dave Philip Junkie, he's heard that Walter Hamada did like the Snyder cut, so maybe there's some issues, some things with that. The issue with that is. Of what he's thinking, right? What is he looking at the Justice League right now? And is he looking at? There's two things. One, people says he's going to get the Snyder cut. He's going to bring it out and everything. That's cool. That's the way we want it. The other one is that because of the canon issues, the way that the theatrical cut is already out in theaters, everybody knows what that one is, and for most general audience, they're going to expect to see a continuation of that in some sense. They don't know what Snyder cut is and things like that. In terms of canon, would we actually see the Snyder cut? Or does he talk to Zack Snyder and says, we'll bring it on board, but we're sorry for what has happened. Tell us what your next project you want to do. You want to do, it's open-ended. You want to do an Injustice version, go ahead. Or you want to do a Flashpoint after, because he changed Flashpoint to Flash for Daily and Goldstein. So do you want to do a Flashpoint later on? Maybe they're keeping the chips open for Zack Snyder, if in a way, just to not appease, but just to, they'll say sorry for what has happened. We're going to make sure you get to make the movie that you want to make. I apologize, for what happened in Justice League, but Justice League has happened already, and we just got to let that one go. But here is a promise that in the future you can make a film for this. That's one of the things that some people have talked about, saying that could happen as well. And maybe that's an option. Maybe that's an option besides the Snyder Cut, that he'll get to do his own couple movies down the line or something like that, which I want it all. By the way, personally, I want the Snyder Cut, and I want more of what Zack Snyder can do with that. But Walter Hamada is the one. He's leading the ship. He's leading the crew now. He's the one person in charge who answers up to Toby Emmerich, who's now the chairperson. There's not a lot of people that are trying to get in there and pull things apart now. I think streamlining the leadership is a good way to do it. And if Walter Hamada is really going in the direction that we hope he's going to, then it'll be very good for the rest of the DC extended universe. So I am really glad for that. I'm really happy for that. And hopefully more will come up for the subject matter. More will come up for San Diego Comic-Con, as I've said before. And I think Walter Hamada's, the tone he likes, that is a big thing. I mean, the background about, like I said, New Line Cinema and the horror films, the way those are made, not the scary factor, but the grounded, even though it's like supernatural, but like some grounded elements in terms of, I have to say dark. I mean, there's no other way to say it, but darker tones to that is interesting, and I would like to see more of that along the line as well. But there's room for lighter tone like Shazam and other movies like that. But now, I know there's a lot of people that have been posting lately. Humberto Gonzalez, I'm going to go back to that one, because he has been talking about, I don't know what's going on. Like, seriously, he used to really champion Batman v Superman of Steel. Then somehow he just changed his tune, and now he's like, when someone asks him what parts would Batman v Superman you'd want, and he's like, I'd take out he delete everything but the warehouse fight scene. I'm like, what happened to this guy? Seriously, like, whoa, and he also said that we should stop living, seeing this pipe dream of that is Snyder Cut, and I don't know what he's heard. I don't know what type of sources he has. Like I said, it's all might be disinformation for all we know, that they've been hearing from others. Like I said before, that these publicists and whatever, the studio themselves are holding on to the more important information to give it to an exclusive to a blog or a news site to their liking, like the Hollywood Reporter and stuff, and not giving it to the Wrap. I don't even know if is Umberto still with the Wrap. I mean, he's been posting a lot of Heroic Hollywood lately. I don't know if he's been kicked back down, because he was like, he quit Heroic Hollywood to be in the Wrap, and maybe something happened. He's no longer with the Wrap. I don't know. But, like Justin Kroll, if Justin Kroll says something, then maybe that's a little bit more, you listen to that because he's from Variety, So, there's something to be said about these guys who really are saying, I got these sources and stuff like that. I mean, I talk about all these people. Like, I don't have any sources. I'm just giving you what these people who have sources have said, and just to be open-minded for all of that. I mean, even Daniel R., I don't know how much correct he is in terms of stuff, but he has been, like, he's being followed by the other insiders. So they're all these part of source groups, they have these scooper crowd or whatever. So it's good to be, cordial with them, because you'll hear things left and right. And it's good to know those things, like how I'm telling you now about those matters. And I think those are important to keep, not burning any bridges for that matter. But I know Vinaldo 7 told me today that he's keeping receipts for John Campea, who talked about there is no alternate cut, and he argued with him about 5 days after Justice League, and I was like, dude, like, John is talking when 5 days after Justice League, John Berg and Jeff Johns were still the producers, right? They're still the head of DC Films. And if John Campea says that he's talked to the producers, whatever, I talked to the producers of Justice League. Well, 5 days after, it was still John Berg and Jeff Johns spewing lies to the media, and they want to control that to make sure that the movie you've seen in theaters is a Zack Snyder. There is no other cut, dudes. That's their game. That's what they do. And John believed that. So whatever. But we know now that that's not true. And I don't know if he ever changed his tune or not. That'll be quite interesting to say the least. But I wanna shout out to John D. Movies Reviews. He's been putting out some interesting stuff. And here is like a picture he took a snapshot of Justice League, and he pulled out all the scenes that are Zack Snyder and all the scenes that are Joss Whedon from within the cut. And it doesn't include the deleted trailer scenes and stuff like that. And then, he just mentioned now, yes, we didn't see an hour and 40 or hour, is that right? An hour and 50 minutes of deleted scenes. Over an hour. There's an hour of Zack Snyder, about that much, of footage that he could see. And cutting out from the Justice League. So that is more that just makes me want to watch the Snyder Cut more, man. I mean, you go in the theater and you're watching Justice League and you're like, only an hour of that is actually Zack Snyder. What? We only got half a movie. And they were cut and rearranged, and Joss Whedon shot. We can talk about this forever, but props to Johnny Movies Reviews. You check him out, subscribe to him. Although he is a different language than English, but I like the stuff that he's doing. I like how he actually goes into depth and all that stuff. And just seeing that inside the bones of Justice League, that is amazing. Just to look at visually, in terms of editing, how much is there that is Zack Snyder's, and how much is there that is Joss Whedon. It's amazing just looking at that. And I don't know what to say. Shocked? Not really. But amused? No. Just angry. Disappointed. There, that's the word. All right, anyway, so again, just a reminder, June 12th is the hashtag release the Snyder Cut. Go ahead and post your DC picture and comic or movies and stuff like that with the hashtag release the Snyder Cut. During that time that you should be posting, so like LA is 10 a.m. And put your own time in your own time zone for that matter. Here's the picture again of the different time zones. And hopefully you guys join in on hashtag release the Snyder Cut. More noise, the better. That's all I can say. More noise, and I think that's what Zack Snyder wants us to do, is just to create that awareness for change. And change could happen if we really work hard for it. So, all right, guys. Well, thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to be pretty busy tomorrow, so hopefully I can post something. But if not, well, have a great few more days, and I'll see you next time. Bye.